Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Maincast Winter Brawl. We're here for the second day of the playoffs. We've decided one side. Now we need to work out the other. I'm Killer Pigeon, and joining me back early in the morning. He's woken up because, Kyle was apparently too busy. But on the plus side, we've got someone who's going to be right more often than wrong, probably. It's Cap. How's it going, bud?
Probably.
Probably.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I would already be wrong about a couple things. I did not expect Tree and Doom to both
No.
make it out of the pool. So, yeah.
It's surprising. I'm trying to think, why they're I guess Disruptor, we've seen it a lot, is kind of the go-to. If they have some sort of mobility side to their draft, like global presence, they're maybe a little bit worried the Disruptor can screw that over, right? But the IO has been banned out, so that isn't going to be the variable to consider. I'm not sure on that.
Somebody asked me yesterday after games were done casting. Somebody asked me, what are the best 5 positions in the patch? And I said Disruptor and Winter Wyvern, and I was like, well, I mean Tree of course, but Tree's gonna get auto banned, so that doesn't really factor into
And Snapfire
like
hasn't
that
been added yet.
too strong. So, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like Viking GG have a plan of sorts. Maybe I don't know if this Doom is going to be 3 or 4 position. Maybe they think 4 position Doom matches up really well against Tree and Protector in some way. I've played Doom against Tree. It's not like as a core. I played 3 Doom against Tree, and it didn't strike me as fun. Like most heroes, I did not feel good against the Tree and Protector, so...
It's like you feel good if you can get to 3 without him punching you once. So at that point, it's like Scorched Earth allows you to trade, but that shouldn't be happening. You should be pushed back and out by like level 2, usually.
Yeah, it's like I never felt like I was strong enough to man fight him at level 1 and 2, and then I also didn't feel the movement speed of Scorched Earth getting me out of his slows.
Yeah,
like
and
it's not that big of a movement speed boost, so...
Well, that's the thing. I'm thinking, like, if it's 4 Doom, it's not too bad, right? Because you start with the boots plus the Scorched Earth, you can escape. And you can afford to be off the lane to look for, like, a crit wolf or a ghost, something that gives you the edge. But if you're a free Doom, you're just going to get the crap kicked out of you in this game.
So is this going to be a teamfight lineup versus a Drow lineup?
Possibly. In fairness, FlyToMoon, they have ran the Trin Phoenix before, and this was a ridiculously potent combo about a year ago. This was being spammed constantly. I think that was in the midst of Alliance's rise. They were one of the big advocates of Trin Protector plus Phoenix. And it just wins you every team fight because all you have to do is press your spells. Not simplification, but it is really kind of like the essence of a team fight lineup that just runs at you.
It's very like, especially with Train Protector now, it has a nice laning focus to it as well. Phoenix as a 4 position can pair up nicely if you get the right 3 that lanes really well, and Beastmaster certainly does with his boars mixed in with the presence of like the combination of a slow and extra units mixed in with the attack speed slow that comes out from the fire spirits and stuff. I could definitely see that being good enough to win a lane. Not a oh, it's gonna be 1. What is this?
This could be a free Venge. I know some teams have liked this as kind of like your bridge gapper, right? Like you can build all the aura items that usually you want out of an offlaner right now. It does feel like they need something to super glue to get. Like the Venge is usually seen as that kind of super glue, but I just don't see their front line at all right now. Like if FlyToMoon just run at them in this current context of draft, Viking just kind of fall over.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what they could actually fill that gap with, because a lot of like Ursa is banned. Chaos Knight is not very popular in the 1 role right now. And that causes some other big problems as well. Because they don't really have the best means to clear out the PL illusions past the mid game.
Yeah, it's good here to be able to get on top of the Shadow Fiend. can really abuse Doom, because normally Doom, your advantages in the laning phase are how tanky you are, and then the damage over time you do from Scorched Earth. And your weaknesses, one of the glaring weaknesses, no armor. So if Phantom Lancer is allowed to get ahead of you, he keeps staying very far ahead of you because he keeps on phantom rushing you out of lane. And I could definitely see Phantom Lancer plus Tree beating what I assume is Venge plus Doom. But we'll see. I don't know. Viking GG's kind of weirding me out, but what they have done is set their lineup very nicely to have a lot of versatility until that last pick, right? It could be core Doom, it could be core Venge, either way, and both of those could be 1 or 3 position when they are core. Both of those heroes have had their priority increased in the latest patch.
Yeah, it's true, but I think that big. It's kind of one of those typical drafts you see where we've moved away from this, right? This whole you don't know what we're doing with our picks at all kind of lineup. Because usually what you end up with is instead of having a very strong draft, you're relying on your opponents to get like very poor laning matchups across the board because you don't necessarily have something that comes together. I mean, it's not bad with Avenge SF right now. I'm just struggling to see what the final piece of this puzzle is that makes sense of it. It has to be a strength core, I'd imagine. But Tiny's already gone. Ursa's already gone. Not a strength core, but is a bulky frontliner type hero. I don't know. I haven't seen much of Vikings, so they must have something in mind that we just can't see here right now. They do ban the Invoker, which just matches up well against the SF, and the Wind Ranger out of FDM.
All right, that's a nice pickup, I think. They needed a tempo mid, and this functions a lot better than Queen of Pain, which was the hero that I was thinking of. Something that like needs to be able to beat the SF, but isn't overly exposed to all these disables that they have. And Wind Ranger functions a lot better against that. It's actually kind of hard to doom Wind Ranger, right? Because she sees you coming, yeah, and she activates Wind Run, and you get Doom off on her, but she's already ran away. You know.
And it's also kind of a bait and switch because like you feel like you need to try and doom the Wind Ranger, which means the PL should be unhindered. And the final pick was the Bloodseeker. I guess he can frontline, but have you got the damage on the other lanes to give Bloodseeker his advantage? Because usually you rely like on an aggressive lane elsewhere to just give you that first stack, right?
I think that a core Doom can definitely, like, he puts in so much damage over time that he can get you some early thirst levels. My biggest concern is how the mid lane is going to be going. If the SF both loses his lane and isn't helping the Bloodseeker with those stacks, then the Bloodseeker's matchup against Beastmaster is going to be significantly harder. That said, Bloodseeker does counter most of their lineup very nicely. You've got a little bit more AoE damage from the Bloodright against Phantom Lancer. You've got a faster tempo hero, which you needed in this situation. You've got a counter to the Wind Ranger as well, and you have a potential lane winner against Beast. It kind of checks all 3 of those boxes, whereas other heroes like Sven check only like 2 out of 3 of those boxes.
That's fair. They've definitely put themselves on the clock here. It feels like Viking have to be up on FTM's high ground by like 25 minutes, or the game plan has fallen apart. So that's definitely going to be the crux for them. Whereas FlyToMoon, they do have that lineup that can go later. Obviously, whenever you have a PL, that's the case. They are going to have a potent combo in both their supports. I definitely feel like they got the better end of the support side of the draft, as they did get that Phoenix Tree and combo. Well, I'll be interested.
Yeah, I think I think I like FlyToMoon's lineup more, but I think it's only based off of like my initial read of the players, right? I just don't think that Viking GG, I don't expect this team to be as good as the previous Viking GG, and therefore I'm not so sure they're going to be able to execute to the level that this kind of draft requires. This kind of draft requires very few mistakes. You definitely have to snowball quite a bit. Your Bloodseeker is going to have to go off. I think he still goes a Maelstrom build. I don't think you need Radiance.
No, that feels a little bit too greedy. I think you're right, though. Like, this is the type of game where if Bloodseeker dies twice in that mid game, it's almost just over. You're then just sitting there waiting for the PL to slip up and make a big fail error.
Yeah, and if this game draws out too much, then PL will probably auto-win it. Just like if he ever gets to hard territory, then he's just always going to be too tanky. They're just going to run out of damage.
Although I think a lot of PLs, they switch over the Abyssal now, right? Because you get similar value, but at the same time, you get this mini initiation tool as well as a stun built into your hero. But it's still that same point, right? Where you're like up to 3k HP. You're like, okay, we don't have the damage to deal with an army of PL illusions.
Yeah, especially if they're like running at you, like diffusal blading you and burning out your mana before a start of fight. Those sort of things.
And the odds, in fairness, do kind of show this. It's 1.3 in FlyToMoon's favor compared to 3.32 odds Viking GG on GG.bet. And this is not necessarily going to change based on these drafts. This is kind of one proven team versus a question mark over the heads of a lot of Vikings players. As most of these names won't be familiar to the widespread Dota community. I'm trying to think who the biggest name might be. Like Toby, no. I'd say probably Toby or Celery, but that's within EU specifically.
Yeah, Solari used to play for Goomba way back in the day, right?
Yeah.
So that guy has a lot of history in Dota 2, a lot of history on being like tier 3 teams. So, you know, I'm always really interested in guys like that, of guys that like I don't really see a whole lot, but have secretly been playing for a really long time, you know?
It's like the,
like,
hey,
I
let's
only
catch
remember...
up sort of thing. It's like, oh, it's been 3 years since I saw you last play. I wonder how far you've come.
Yeah. It's like, you know, I casted them back in, you know, I was on Join Dota and casting Goomba Gaming or whatever the hell. So, you know, I kind of remember that name, but I respect anybody who will grind it out, you know. And already this bottom lane is beginning to go nicely for Shad. That Beastmaster is going to have a hard time with Bloodright. His boar control is going to have to be really on point. Otherwise, he's just going to feed those away to all that pure damage.
Yeah, and he hasn't got much regen already. He only brought 3 tangos out, as he did start with the belt. So they should win on the attrition battle. Even with always want to fly being this lane, you can already see the pressure coming out.
Yeah, see that that Bloodright spam just knocked the Beastmaster down and secured both range creeps. Crystal Nova and Bloodright level 1. That's enough to secure any range creeps. So that's actually pretty hype for them. Oh jeez,
Oh,
General.
General.
Oh.
They might still get him. Looks like he won't chase any further though. Still, that should now be the salve used, and that's a small advantage already in the favor of Viking. As they still have a salve and 8 tangos between them to work with.
So Boom is spamming raises to try and get to the initial levels he needs, and he got a bottle, was able to respam again, and now he just got the rune. That was the important part.
Step 1. It's still a lane where you very easily get forced out there, right? Because of the power shots.
Yeah, you seen his top lane, by the way?
Oh, Aramis. He's going to be the first blood. Player actually finds it. We checked in on 2 lanes, and the one with the Trent, for some reason, we ignored. At our own peril. It's kind of an inevitability, right, though? We mentioned this early on that Trent will screw you over a bit. They have cut down most of his trees, but you don't really need it now with the way Nature's Grasp works. You just throw that down and just run at them.
Yeah, it's that ability is like crazy strong in how long it sits there and how much it slows at level 1.
It's pretty absurd. Like they Admittedly, they needed to nerf Leech Seed. Leech Seed was pretty ridiculous as well, but the fact that Nature's Grasp is still 60 mana cost and lasts like double the duration of Leech Seed, yeah, you can already see where the problems came. And that should get his turn on Trim. He throws out on the Grasp now, but they're fast enough to drop him. Toby will man fight up against V2, so he has to back off as well.
Yeah, that's the difference between level 1 and level 2 Scorched Earth. Almost doubling the damage in an AoE. And that kill is going to allow them to be able to pick up boots as well as the buckler for the Vengeful Spirit. So that just kind of starts snowballing the lane a bit. Shad is already taking a lot of damage bottom lane, though.
They still have the salve to work with, so Celery will back up, and they can just use it on him. Always want to fly, also brought out another salve. Celery's staying a little bit far forward, but does at least kill off the boar. The interesting part for me is that Viking, despite having the Doom, chose to block both of the camps top. Like, I get that you don't want to pull, right? But at the same time, you have got a Doom that would probably benefit from finding any sort of creep at this point.
The initial hard camp was blocked by FlyToMoon, right?
Okay, yeah, but they also done the other camp. Oh, no, they were D1. It's okay, it's fine.
Yeah, so they wanted to prevent the Doom from being able to get something. Oh, Slayer's in the man fight.
He's just standing his ground. Aramis is doing the same, though, and he'll get the kill first. As Toby walks over and just hits him up with a mana burn.
Yeah, you didn't expect that long-range nuke out of nowhere from a Doom.
No, I was like, what did he pick up? And he just look across the... Oh, the mana burn. I wonder
Well, mana burn's a really cool idea against this PL that can really hurt his presence in lane.
Yeah, one of the better choices to get the level 1 creeps if you haven't got access to small camps. And the crit wolves are nice, but they spawn around the center camps and they're just too far away. Meanwhile, CM does go down. Did he at least get the rune? It doesn't look like it. Nah. Always want to fly was able to yoink it away.
Yes, Iceberg was able to do that very casual, walk slightly out of his lane and go for the really long power shot. So it's like he's a Zeus that just, popped his ultimate and got a kill. Or an Invoker that, Exort Invoker that picks up a Sunstrike kill.
True, but he kind of needs this considering Boom is already accelerating, right? Like, you expect an SF to farm, but he's definitely leveraging the advantage you have over a Wind Ranger, which is that you can farm the jungle much quicker than she possibly can. So, as you say that, Venge does go down the top. Slayer is keeping us on our toes. And they...
Yeah, this lane's getting just wacky. The swords keep running at each other all the time. Boom might be dead, though.
Yeah, they were rotating around. It looked like Always Want to Fly just want to get a ward down, but he takes the kill! Long range hit onto the Phoenix to make sure he takes one to the grave with him. That should make it obvious they have this ward, as they do ping it out. But still a big kill onto the SF. You can already see the ice. I love that he does at this time as well. That rotation to enable the push with the catapult.
I check out top lane. Of course, they're battling again.
You thought they were going to stop?
We're going at it. The Scorched Earth is on cooldown, so that should give FlyToMoon a little bit of a breather. But at the same time, they're running low on mana on the PL. He does have the stick charges, though. But
they're going to try and pressure him. I just don't know if this is the move. Like, you have to do it now before he has the Scorched Earth again, but this could turn around you quickly. So they won't pressure too hard. It's just ridiculous how Doom's gone full circle. You remember it used to be like Scorched Earth was the only thing you maxed out? Like, there wasn't an argument for anything else. And now we've come back to this meta where once again Scorched Earth is the only thing to max out first.
Yeah. It's such a good lane dominating ability.
Oh wow,
really
rotation.
Jesus.
Iceberg found the DD. Now he might get the second kill as well. Nice shackle shot. And easily just run down Aramis.
Nice rotation by Iceberg. That was really needed because V-Tune doesn't want to, he can, but he doesn't want to jungle just yet. So now that he's got his level 6, jungling is made a lot easier because he has Juxtapose. So that rotation just came and connected the last little dots that they needed for the laning phase. I would say overall, though, FlyToMoon's laning phase has been very successful. Mostly because they got that good gank on the SF that put the Wind Ranger ahead of him. and they didn't die. Like, they traded kills decently at top lane.
Yeah,
Like,
and
maybe the tree died one more time than he was supposed to, but that's fine.
yeah, it's a back and forth lane. That kind of trade you expected to happen. The fact that they haven't hemorrhaged too much in the bot lane is the impressive part, as you would have thought the Bloodseeker would be more assertive on this lane, but instead he's starting to fall behind General now.
Yeah, Bloodseeker lanes, it's funny how they are he's probably the safe lane carry that the laning phase can go the best or worst. Just based off of like how the matchup goes, how it's played. You know, this hero just as easily could have, if they'd won the lane a little bit, could actually be dominating over the Beastmaster when it comes to CS. You know, just constantly limiting his boars, and then Beastmaster would be able to stay ahead in CS, always being able to out-deny him.
I guess the bigger issue you have in this situation, right, is that your other lanes failed. We mentioned this, the Bloodseeker needs another lane that's doing a lot of aggression and keeping people low regularly. And while top was a back and forth trade of a bit, it feels like Boom was unable to really apply any pressure whatsoever to this Wind Ranger. Yeah, has actually rotated top with an Invis rune. Requiem.
Sneaky.
This is the awkward part. If B2 keeps moving, Fear comes out, second raise, and the Fur will get it. Nice little quick pick off, and he'll just TP away straight away before Iceberg arrives to punish him.
You know, I thought that's why that combination right there, I thought that when SF came back into the meta, I thought we were going to be seeing magic damage SF. And not the case at all. It's all right-click SF. But I thought because your fear allows you to be able to 1-2-3 somebody very nicely, that is conceivably more damage than being able to get right on top of somebody with the Yule's combo from before. But
yeah, that was the... Oh, Toby just going down the top. Shot through. They need to connect more hits, but they can't. Magic Missile coming out. They're going to turn around Slayer. The blood right down. He's just forced to fight. It looks like he will die, unable to do any damage to Toby as they rotate for the outpost. The bot will be taken by FlyToMoon. I think you're right. It is kind of interesting. It did seem like they were trying to push people away from magic damage SF when they introduced the hitbox at the base of the Yules. And I feel like whenever I see SF succeed, it is on the back of having some sort of lineup that utilizes the aura affecting buildings, right? Where you have like a life stealer, or you have maybe some like the pucks that build desos, something that can actually get value and almost get towers to minus armor.
all right, well, we're doing the classic safe lane trade-off. But
Yeah.
the difference is that B-Tune was able to take his tower solo, and the rest of FlyToMoon rotated on mid, which they're going to be able to take as well. So they traded 2-for-1 towers, and taking away the mid tower allows you to invade very easily. It just like opens up that entire Radiant jungle. So from here on out, Phantom Lancer is going to feel really comfortable farming this area.
Okay, Slayer just almost got a solo kill there. He will die for his greed now. But yeah, you get a kill once against a Trin, and as you were just highlighting, they took 2 other towers, and they're already applying pressure on the tier 2s. I feel like they need to do something on the map soon. They can't just stay in this static state of farm, more or less, as the PL is just going to accelerate further and further, as I believe he now has the Usher coming out.
But the problem is that Bloodseeker isn't ready to run around the map and be the playmaker you want him to be, and neither is Doom. So it just kind of sucks, but they have to like force movements out of the SF, who obviously is your last hero that you want to run around with.
Primal Roar into his face. Bloodseeker has already gone the distraction shot just to ensure it. Now the egg pretty deep. They'll move across to get rid of it quickly. But that wastes a little bit of their time. Now there might be a turnaround. Nature Grass gets thrown down. Aramis is going to be brought down. Boom, we're down to half HP. Doppelganger dodges out the Requiem. They won't chase to the tree line, though. It's a 2-for-1 trade. And it cost them the Phoenix, and that was a measly level 1 egg.
Yeah, that egg might have been a little bit aggressive, but what I do really appreciate is that Iceberg's positioning has been really on point this whole game. Like that top lane when he didn't commit for the kill on the Doom. He backed off once he saw the TP rotation that was coming into that offlane tower right there. He doesn't overcommit on the egg either and position himself poorly. He, just is playing the outer edges of the fight and waits for Viking GG to overcommit before capitalizing. And he's getting so far ahead. He just needs to spend his gold.
That's what I'm wondering.
Which
He's got a lot.
is he gonna go an early MKB?
That's what I was wondering. Like, okay, he's actually switched up to Lincoln's. He's okay. I'm so far ahead. I don't want to get doomed, which is respectable.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit surprised he doesn't go Maelstrom, but.
Yeah, it's also kind of like it's a level 1 Doom, eventually level 2, but even then you have the Living Armor and the Sunray, so in theory you shouldn't be that concerned. The stats are nice, and you do need stats, but there are other items that give you more value for that. I thought you might have gone a Blink, to be honest, in this type of game.
Yeah, I played a Omni game. Oh, bottom sheds down.
Yep. He's just. I think one was enough, guys. The Primal Roar, yes. The Overgrowth follow-up was excessive.
So Shad's just farming the wrong part of the map.
Iceberg thought he was farming the safe area of the map. Jackal shot. Is he gonna get away with this? No, the Raze just clips him. It's gonna be a TP in. Always want to fly the instant Doom. They're not hesitating. Like, what are you doing here, buddy? Just living up to your pseudonym, I guess.
Okay, so the kill on the Phoenix isn't actually worth that, because if they use Doom, right, and on top of that, General and V-Tune are still pressuring out this bottom tier 2. They're not gonna get it, but they're at least gonna force the defensive tower rotations and stuff like that. Like, that Phoenix kill just was, I don't know, it didn't feel that good. Great kill on Iceberg. He was in a much safer part of the map, still got caught out. I presume they smoked for that, which I think Viking GG is running low on smokes as a result.
We still don't actually have a way to check smoke counts in Dota.
Yeah, I don't know when Valve is gonna.
I literally just done it because I was like, oh, I never checked that with the new update, because you can see neutral items, right? You can see which neutral items the enemy, each team has, but no smokes. Nice. Maybe Ice Frog's secretly going to remove them next patch. You know, he's done away with half the shrines.
I mean, I at some point in time, I just kind of assumed that Valve intended it to be that way, because it is. Oh
God.
Okay.
Will this be the way it is for him? Primal Roar the egg as well. I did say in the draft that all FlyToMoon really need to do is just cast all their spells, and they are taking that to heart in this game. Good lord.
I think it's a fair liberty, because they kind of need to overcommit for some of these fights, because they do have a lineup that, as long as they get pickoffs like this, they take really good advantage of the space. All 3 of their cores, they're a little bit greedy. All 3 of them want to farm. And then you've got this Train Protector who can't play mid so much, and you've got a 4th position Phoenix who also needs levels as well as farm. So they just kind of need to overcommit for pickoffs, farm a majority of the map, and then back off like they're doing now. They just need to stay away from Viking GG during this time.
Yeah, well, the cores will retreat. However, on the side, Phoenix made a mistake. Yeah, they want to actually try and protect him here. Always want to fly. Will be able to escape as a result. The grass to slow down the Doom as well, as he does have the Doom coming off cooldown in a few seconds. I'll just retreat. The other factor is that they can just throw these ults out, because we mentioned in the draft, right? They have the PL. So if it just buys time towards the late game, better for them to not risk giving any sort of gift to Viking in the mid game. However, Treant will donate himself to the Viking cause. Gets swapped in and ruptured immediately.
Yeah, for something about this, it makes me feel like the FlyToMoon supports have like a strong understanding of how dispensable they are.
Yeah, they're like their combo, and that's all that ever matters. And that's going to scale. It will get better, but it's not like they really need items to make that combo much more effective.
Yeah. I really like Iceberg's build, by the way. This early Lincoln's, I think it's so good. I played an Omni game just yesterday after our cast, and I was playing it against similar circumstances where it was like Doom and Bloodseeker. And I remember just thinking I was ahead, and I was just like, well, if I'm ahead against this lineup, all I need to do is build Lincolns and make sure that I always get off some of my abilities, and we'll win every single fight. And I think Iceberg looks at it kind of the same way.
Yeah, it's a hard balance to understand, right? This idea of protecting your lead versus accelerating it. Lincoln's isn't really an item that's going to accelerate it, but it makes sure that you don't start hemorrhaging kills. An issue. It's a weird one, right? It's kind of that argument that we have a lot of times, like playing to win versus playing to survive. There are situations where you have to look and go, something like a Doom in the game. Playing to survive makes all the difference because he will remove a hero completely from the fight for 15, 16 seconds. There's a smoke movement coming out from Viking. They want to try and catch out Iceberg, but now that he has the Lincolns, it's just not an easy kill. They need a better entry. Blink in, Primal Roar, and they'll just win run away. Primal Roar was spent, but they broke the smoke for it.
Yeah, Aramis did not, as you said, he didn't know about the Lincolns. He throws Magic Missile thinking it's going to stun, doesn't swap.
Oh, Phoenix is forcing a fight. Always want to fly, has got the egg. And the Shackle Shot means they can't actually attack it right now. The Freezing Field to try and scare them away, but Boom needs to retreat quicker. We'll get out, but Celery's left behind as a sacrificial lamb. And they'll turn around and Doom as well. Down to half HP for our man already. Requiem is getting away, swap in. Shad trying to chase forward with the blood right, but Slayer will dodge it out and use the Overgrowth Power Shot through. Does get the kill to Aramis, and now Shad needs to just retreat while he still has the movement speed to work with. Shackle Shot. Toby chased onto Iceberg with the wind run forward, and with the damage coming out from Focus Fire, should be able to bring him down. With the assistance of General, that's definitely going to occur. A little Centaur on Centaur action.
Yeah, he's like, I'll show you a Centaur stomp.
He's like, you ate my cousin, dude. I'm going to have to kill you for that.
Great job by Always Want to Fly to force that with a Phoenix Egg. It was very beautifully positioned where it would just require Viking GG to like overcommit. Plus, you know, he happened to land a really good shackle shot, which ensured he would actually survive. But even if he doesn't, right, Viking GG would have to go back in just a little bit too much, overcommit to killing the egg, and then they would have lost the fight. And then on top of that, they already got kind of caught. So,
yeah, Phoenix, the egg, it's kind of the way we forgot it. Is it became obvious when we saw Colt being picked a lot, right? Is that the Will-O-Wisp. You know, you can draft these heroes that kill the eggs, but you're still spending all that time. At least with the Phoenix, it's more value, but it's actually much easier for him to stick himself out on the side of the fight in a more awkward position. And it just makes it a higher priority, but at the same time, most of the time, you can't reach it. Especially when you hear heroes like the Wind Ranger, the Trin being the biggest enabler in the hero pool for a Phoenix. It's a frustrating type of game, I think is the point.
So Train Protector is like this really good laning phase support, right? But one of the other reasons for his popularity is that he is the best support for controlling outposts. So that's another reason, like in this new meta, he is so strong. Even as they try and like nerf him where they can, his tree walking allows him to be able to control, like if you already have control of an outpost, it's very hard to take that outpost away from him, because you can't really hunt the hero down when he's got clear vision of that area, and he can always overgrowth to set up a team fight, and that's what happened top lane. So now Viking GG, you know, they're behind and they're falling further behind because they can't get outposts back and they can't get bounties.
Might be further now. They pinged it out. They're moving forward. Toby is retreating quickly though. It looks like he will get out of harm's way. They are holding on the high ground here. Problem is that because FlyToMoon took this bottom half of the map so quickly, there's not really anything to come here for. In reality, they want to start playing around Roche, but that is one of the weaknesses of having a PL, is he's not the quickest Rocher. But they're looking to connect. Human's showing bot, but so is Always Want to Fly. Outpost has been captured, and Iceberg is waiting here. Needs some reinforcements. They bring them in now. Slayer does have the overgrowth ready. Larry, Shackle Shot. Won't latch on, but they'll chase him down. That Focus Fire just to ensure the kill. He pops the Lincolns, but Iceberg will back off for a moment. Somewhere on the side, swap in. Always Want to Fly going deeper. Still has the egg to work with. We'll hold on to it, though. They drop both the supports of Viking, and it doesn't cost them anything.
I wonder what, in that situation,
Aramis
gave Aramis the confidence to be able to go, yeah, this is a good fight.
You know what it was, Cap? He looked at it, he went, well, they're just pressing all their buttons and winning fights, so I'm just going to press all my buttons and we'll see what happens. Turns out, doesn't work that well for Venge compared to Phoenix or a Trin. But I think this just comes down to, again, right, that we mentioned before, is like, while you can understand Viking's strategy, you mentioned it yourself, it's a very elegant strategy, it's not easy to execute. And the way these supports have to play this game is 10 times harder than the way that FlyToMoon's function. Like, it's not taking anything away from the players. They're playing very well. But what the heroes have to do is very cut and dry. It's very straightforward compared to a CM and a Vengeful Spirit.
Hey, we've got MKB second item, so they can do Roche now.
Yep.
They're actually quite proficient Roche takers.
Yeah, the Beast
now
Master.
they've got that big damage item.
Beast also has that Helmet Dominaire, so they're getting a lot of damage. I mean, you're a stage where you could probably just try and find a Wolf and give 50% damage increase to a PL and a Wind Ranger in these fights. But it's probably overkill.
Yeah.
I don't think you even need it at this stage.
Both heroes who like benefit from any damage increase by a lot.
Celery. Swap out from Aramis. That's the good swap. Not into the enemy team. Just retreat, though. They know there's vision here now. So FlyToMoon just slowly starving Viking off the map.
Yeah, I've noticed a really big problem with Viking GG is like a distinct lack of catch. So because if you think about it, all they had was like Swap, which is kind of the same range as Crystal Nova. And then Rupture, which is coming from your carry. You didn't really have a way to force fights very easily if FlyToMoon could see you coming, and they always could because of Beastmaster. So they would just kind of kite back Viking GG all the time. But maybe the smoke can change things.
Wide wrap round. Doom thrown out straight away. I'd always want to fly and they'll net him in the blood right. His cross does go down. Magic missile, but he's still running and he's still looking healthy. He might even get the egg out of this rate. Requiem comes out, scaring him away. The Overgrowth has slowed down the side of Viking in response. They're waiting for that egg. Doom is about to end and it's going to be cast. Boom. Chased onto him, brought down already. They'll try and get rid of this egg, but at what cost? Kobe down to half HP. Shackle shot connects onto 2, but a run away from Iceberg as they force a double buyback out of Viking. It does cost them their PL though. Beastmaster will look to retreat. We'll get out. Viking, all in all, you take that though. You're finally able to prove that FlyToMoon can bleed.
Yes and no at the same time. It's like they finally did kill a core on the side of FlyToMoon, and that's gonna feel okay, but they needed that team fight to go so much better. Yeah. They needed to be able to catch Iceberg or General, or preferably both, to really make that team fight worth.
I found Iceberg this time, it's just don't have the damage. I agree, but I think it's a case like Viking, they need to try and slay anything at this point, and the value on these kills is double their own. And you just see the comparison as Wind Ranger runs in and just whittles away. That's going to be the dieback for Boom. And PL's up in 5 seconds. They might just go for base.
Yeah, I mean, those 2 buybacks out of that team fight, and it was 1,000 net worth exchange in FlyToMoon's favor, you know, because it was a 2 for 3 with 2 buybacks coming out from the 3 side as well. So it was basically like, in the terms of net worth, it was like, you know,
it was definitely
a 2 for 5. Yeah, so it was a rough one. They got experience, but I don't think that actually changes too much of what Viking GG's lineup is. Honestly, I think they just lost. I felt that way for like the last 10 minutes.
Definitely.
That they were behind and they lost map control against a lineup that has better late game than them. And that is the worst feeling in Dota, but especially right now, where, again, things like outposts and neutral items snowball games even further. It gives you less time to come back and take control of the game again.
No, I agree. It's felt off for a while. And the problem is, like, they know they can't kill Iceberg in the Aegis. I guess maybe their thought process is, we've got rid of the PLs, so now we can keep them away from the base. But when SF plays up that far, with no way to protect himself, there's no hesitation from Iceberg. He knows exactly what he can do and how far he can go. When he has an Aegis, the sky's the limit, really, and you're an SF who doesn't even have a BKB.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, you know, FlyToMoon, they're dumpstering Viking GG, but they still took the time to just grab a tier 3 and back up and hit the shrine. You know, they're still playing this very disciplined. I love the fact that they're trying to maintain an offensive front, a chance of going back in.
Boom. Charging up Requiem. Primal Roar onto the illusion. Bit of a mistake. Requiem is going to come out, split up Slayer from his team. He's already used that Overgrowth, though. So it's not the biggest kill. Maybe Celery can find more, though. On the side, they'll find always want to fly with this for Toby. And the Rupture does come out. It's on the General. They'll go for the TP away and will be successful as they're not quick enough. Nice shackle. No, they get the vision. The swap back. General will fall despite the best efforts of Iceberg to save him.
Well, that was a fortunate little throw because that almost was Viking GG losing Boom again. He barely manages the man to dodge the shackle shot. Nice little fast heads-up play by him, and then to his benefit, poor old General over there accidentally Primal Roars an illusion instead of the real hero. So a little windfall for Viking GG. I don't know if it's
step one.
enough to... Yeah, it's like step 1 of like 10. They need 10 more of those kind of plays to get back into the game.
Well, we can make some beautiful speech about it's not about, you know, how much you get knocked down, it's about how much you get up. Sadly, in Dota, eventually getting knocked down too many team fights does lead to your base being destroyed. And considering most of it's exposed, yeah.
Sadly, Pigeon, that sort of phrase is what leads to brain damage.
Oh. Well, I'm glad we are.
Sometimes it's better just to tap out before, you know, the permanent damage is really done. Shad is gonna go for Radiance because he needs some sort of answer to PL. But the problem is that by the time he picks it up, it's going to be so late into the game that the PL will already be at I have well over 2k HP territory, and he just won't really feel that burn very much.
He'll also have more evasion than him, you know? Yeah, you got that effective miss chance, but you're gonna see PL is queuing up the butterfly.
Yeah, I thought he would go hard in this game, but I guess maybe Butterfly is better because the SF's right-click damage. I just feel like the AoE, the general AoE magic damage is more of a threat to him.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't commit, because if he gets eyes on Boom, he'll see that a Demon's Edge has been picked up. So that should give away that there's an MKB in the mix for the SF soon. Looks like FlyToMoon are moving towards this last tower. Just want to try and open up the whole base, so next time they grab an Aegis, they can just go in and try and end the game. Viking, what's the big pickup? Other than the MKB, which is almost ready. Mentioned that Radiance already, and then we just got to look across at Doom and wonder, and it is just going to be the BKB. A sensible and logical choice at this stage in the game. Feels like most games for Doom go this way, right? You get your Blink, you get your BKB, maybe a Vlad's if you don't already have something like Avenge on your team. Hero has, to an extent, lost his flexibility because these items are so valuable when you consider the pace you have to play at right now. Base being breached. It will return, but we'll only get the Helm of Dominator creep.
General just keeps on changing his build. Not sure what he's gonna go for. I thought he would just commit for Necrobook 3, because, you know, why not? But it looks like he wants an AC. But the point is that when your offlaner is looking at like a big ticket item like that, you still have a lot of growth to work through.
Yeah.
And, you know, then you look at your safe lane and mid on the side of FlyToMoon, and they're getting very large.
That's true, and you're in a situation, right, where like you don't want level 3 Necrobook anyway because they have so much wave clear that they can just burst them down. So with the amount of control on the map you have, and not even have that power spike, you can just chill and go for these 5k items. Celery. And what hard commit onto a maiden. Oh, the exit are coming now. They forced out the use of the freezer field, and looks like she's gonna go down. Overgrowth connects onto both of them. Both supports on the side of Viking are cleaned up for the combo of the Phoenix and the Treant. Looks like they will just plow into the base now. No real hesitation needed. Yes, the MKB's there, but now without the Venge for 40 seconds, that's a window of opportunity where you can take a set of racks.
You know, in this meta, the supports have a lot more gold to work with. And I just don't like the duo that Viking GG chose for this game. Venge Crystal Main does not like... That doesn't sound like a support duo that instills me with a lot of confidence. And that's surprising, see, is this is not their opening pick.
No.
Right? They didn't, like, force 2 supports at the start of the draft and, you know, end up getting some awkward heroes.
Yeah,
they let this draft percolate a little bit and still chose those 2 as a duo.
Yeah, it's an oddity to me because you can't even argue that Venge gives you that late game variable anymore with the changes now Luna having the percentage damage. Like, the stats are nice, the attack range is nice, but I'm not seeing any cute combo that requires Venge here. Like, maybe Rupture Swap is it, but it doesn't work when you're behind, right? Because you're always needing to save those swaps to save people's lives. You can't use them to actively try and kill someone who's erupts you.
Yeah, they just picked up Crystal Main when they saw Beastmaster, right? Is that how that
I
went?
think that was it, yeah. So like the Frostbite, and it's not a
Yeah,
bad
so they
combo
just
on the
kinda, like,
lane with Bloodseeker, right? Like they can do a lot with the spam, but
yeah, for sure. They just thought like it was a one-to-one sort of like, okay, we're just gonna like answer the laning phase sort of deal, and if we win our lanes, we'll snowball from there. Instead, they lost their lanes, and well, the game snowballed from there.
just the wrong way. No one told them this was a two-way answer.
That's true. Nobody told them that.
Now they're just stuck in their base right now.
God.
Hold down the fort, border the windows. Don't let the zombies in.
Enchanted Quiver, man.
On
It's a
avenge.
that's a garbage item. It's like it's just a weird item because it doesn't feel good for most heroes because again it's a no stat item, so a lot of people are just gonna be like, why did you give this to me?
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think of a hero that might like it. Something like a Kunkka, maybe.
Puck kind of likes it.
Yeah. I was thinking Kunkka because some hero, like melee heroes, can take it as well, right? For the bonus damage element.
Yes, but the bonus damage
Is separate.
It's single target. It's a separate instance, so it does not work its way into your cleave. We know because we tested this earlier.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering because like the true strike element. I'm trying to think of a hero that like can hit multiple targets that would benefit from it, but it's only on one target once again. So even someone like a sleight of fisting Ember, which yeah, he eventually gets access to the true strike, but no, there's no hero
most of the
that really
time
feels
it's just
great.
like any sort of like really bursty core.
Yeah.
So it's like your Lina and Puck sort of deal where, okay, that is a decent amount of extra damage you're doing. It's like an extra nuke. So that's not too bad. But most of the time they're just like, this is kind of bad for everybody involved.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe someone who like does a Silver Edge build. There could be a cute play there where you get a crap ton of damage on the first hit. But then, you know, if you're up at a Silver Edge already, you're probably looking at a better item than just having that Enchanted Quiver fill up one. It's an oddity to be sure.
I mean, with this kind of combination, especially since Butterfly was committed for on VTune, Viking GG, they always have a chance. They really need FlyToMoon to commit to going high ground, though. And it seems like FlyToMoon is not giving them that luxury. Even though they have Aegis and stuff, they are down to just own the map and outfarm Viking GG.
This reminds me of those games where people just don't want to end the game because they want to see what they look like 6 slot. It's like, oh, it's been a while since I've got this farm. We'll just keep going. What's that?
Oh
We'll
yeah,
just go for
Pigeon,
tier
I got a 70-minute game yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I saw your tweet. Congratulations. And it wasn't even a turbo.
Yeah.
That you can now achieve 7 minutes earlier.
We got, what did we get? We got Apex, the 80% to primary attribute
The
item.
Centaur's
We
Wet
had a
Dream.
Slark, so
Oh, okay.
that was pretty good.
Force boots? Come on, tell me you got force boots. That's the way
I
of
didn't
life.
get any of the fun items.
Oh, come
man.
on. You got the sweaty tryhard items. I'm not okay with
Yeah. We got Apex, we got Phoenix Ash.
Oh, yeah, you got really sweaty ones.
Ex Machina, which is, I think, one of the worst tier 5 items. Because at that point in time, Refresher is a thing.
Yeah.
Right? If you're getting 70 minutes into the game, like, most cores are getting a backpack refresher. So being able to have an item that only refreshes items, it's just like, it's not worth the slot for you.
No. I quite like the idea of the bounty one, the pirate hat. Like 250 attack speed is a lot, but this cute element on the side is like, yeah, you know, whenever you kill someone, there's just a bounty room between you and them.
Yeah. There was so many cool. I wanted to see Fallen Skies so badly.
Oh god, yeah. That's Nahaz's wet dream, I call that one. Shadowfeed, good lord. Swap out, gets him away, but they're going to jump in with the Primal Roar just to finish him off anyway. The egg does go pop, but now they'll dive through and finish him off. Boom is going to go down. Buyback straight away. Toby still has the Doom to work with, but is there really a good target anymore? They've kind of used all their spells. He'll throw out the net onto Slayer. They'll run him down. Some vengeance might be had, but the Sunray will make them work for it a little. Toby does get blocked out with the Necro. Jumps forward. BKB, but too late. General blinks away in time. Didn't get the Infernal Blade off. And it looks like he's just going to be left holding his own BKB in his hands, unable to find a kill.
Yeah, see how casually they walked away from that fight when the buyback happened? There's not enough catch. You know, Venge Doom and Venge Bloodseeker, cute combos, but Venge Doom specifically doesn't work as well as you hope it to. Because Venge doesn't have the range on swap to really ensure that people are able to stay ahead of you. If you think about it, Doom and Venge as a melee and range hero basically have the same range. Right? Like if Venge is 300 units behind Doom, you're kind of looking at the same sort of distance.
Well, they're trying to make
man
use
moding.
of some combo here, but V2 doesn't care. Boom is surrounded, and this will be the dieback. Should decide the game. Dead for 110 seconds. On the hunt, they get vision of Toby. Slow him down again. Glimmer Cape will buy him a little bit of time, but what are you going to do? They're coming for your base straight after this kill. Doom is now dead for 70. At least he didn't use the Doom, but now you have to hold without most of your physical damage for 90 seconds.
Oh, okay. I mean, maybe you can talk about what went wrong in the game, but honestly, I would just GG out of this game if I was Viking GG. I don't want to be here
The
anymore,
Vikings,
man.
okay? They're born to fight. Non-stop blood. Celery is going to hemorrhage some of that. The egg behind them all. They're trapped in the grass. Toby unable to really move away, and the Doom not really achieving anything as Wind Ranger is just standing his ground. Iceberg gets another kill and forces the GG out. And this game, well, you hope that maybe Viking had a plan. Maybe they had a way of making this interesting, but I think it would be fair to say this game felt over for at least 15 minutes now.
At least 15 minutes. I felt like it was over by the 15-minute marker.
That's fair. I was aiming for 20. I was like, well, they had a breath of life here or there, but it just felt like they never really connected. And it also felt like the big difference was SF compared to Wind Ranger in this game, right? Like a ganking mid after you win the mid lane versus a mid that just farms more.
Yeah, SF is like your one position. You know, like SF in the current patch, the way you build him as a right clicker, he's your one. You don't really have a hard carry behind that. So you're going to naturally draft a 2 in the safe lane, and that's kind of what Bloodseeker is, right? He can scale, and he does pretty well at it, but he's more naturally a little bit more of a 2. And the problem that occurs is the drafting order, right? You picked up this SF so early, and you identified your win condition, your hard carry, very early on. And FlyToMoon honestly already had some decent answers to it, but then by being able to pick up both the Phantom Lancer as well as the Wind Ranger, both countering the SF pretty hard, then Viking GG is left with only the option of winning lanes and winning game. You know, they're only left with the, I hope we win 2 out of 3 of our lanes and snowball our victory, because our win condition outside of that has been hard countered through the draft.
Definitely problematic. That's why we see most teams try and give themselves a bounce back solution, but you do reach a stage in your draft where one team is bidding high and you're gambling that they've bid too high at that point, right? You're like, okay, if we just pile in this 20-minute kind of death ball, we can win it. But FlyToMoon, they dismantle Vikings' plan and take an easy win, more or less. So game 1 going the way of FlyToMoon, but best of 3, so they will require one more victory to proceed. So Viking not quite done yet, but they're going to have to come up with a better invasion plan than this game, or it's going to be a very quick day.
Yeah, the upside is this is a draft loss, so game 2 could be a lot better.
All right. Short break, and we'll see what they got in them.